Hey guys, Deathletter Magic here, and Wizards has just recently announced the 4 sets that are coming out after Throne of Eldraine. And well, obviously one of them we already knew what it was, but the other 3, very exciting. Hey, remember when I took every single statement made by the staff in the last 3 years and said we had to be returning to either Theros or Kamigawa because it literally can't be anything else? We're going back to Theros. So whenever people ask me, what's your favorite set in all of Magic, I usually say Theros, which is a bit misleading because I know nothing about the lore or the storyline whatsoever. I just like playing when Theros was legal because devotion. Oh, and also Bestow was one of the best mechanics ever invented in the history of the game. You know, I keep saying in video after video that the partial mechanics are better than their overpowered base forms. Like Hexproof is annoying and overpowered, but just saying this creature can't be targeted unless you pay an extra 2 generic to target it. Okay, fair and balanced mechanic. Trample, kind of overkill. You can really abuse that. Oh, whenever this creature becomes blocked, it deals 2 damage to the person who blocked it. Okay, semi-trample, we have a fair and balanced mechanic. Well, there's Undying and Persist, where you kill it once and it just drops right straight back into the battlefield. That's a little much. Bestow, however, basically let them kill half of a creature, or the bestowed creature, they had to kill it twice unless you natural cast it. So there's all this gray area in between, making it a very fair but not overbearing, just completely insane mechanic. It was still defeatable, and a kill spell would now just kind of shrink the creature to half the size, not just eliminate the creature and basically end the game, because now your opponent's left with nothing in some cases. So it took the power of removal and didn't completely undermine it, but it also made it not completely devastating. And then you've got Devotion, which is kind of the same thing. It's the pinnacle of perfect deck design. What you really don't want in Magic, because it's boring, it's stupid, it's not fun to play, and it's not fun to play against. It's uncreative and it only works if you net deck. I'm talking about stupid, gimmicky, same repetitive glass cannon combos. Or not even glass cannon combos that only work one way and they either fail or they don't, but I would include like a Red Rush or Red Burn, where they run out of cards and you're still at 10 life and, well, I guess they lost. Any deck archetype where it either works or it doesn't, and it's very binary and very easy to shut down, but also very easy to win with. Boring games, no back and forth, it's just dull, you win the same way with the same cards, snooze fest. Devotion was basically designed to be the opposite. In a normal game, the more things you have in play, the more likely you are to win, in general. And I would even say the more non-land permanents. Because the more land you got, that just means the more flooded you are. And also, what's the most detrimental place to go to for the standard meta? 3-color decks. Probably 75% of the most problematic decks in the last 5 years have been 3-color. So what you want to do is subtly push people towards playing mono. The colors were invented for a reason, and no standard deck should be able to do absolutely everything. A deck should have some blind spots, a deck should have some weaknesses to make for more interesting gameplay. And that's why the color pie and the color chart is what it is, and that's why certain colors do certain things and are unable to do other things. If you run 3 colors in your deck can literally do anything, and that statement goes double for your sideboard, which has been proven to be the most problematic part of best of 3 competitions at the high competitive level. So, mono blue Devotion. Okay, now my Devotion's at 3. Well, now it's at 5. Oh, now it's at 8. Oh, they destroyed something, and now it's back to 3. They used a double kill spell. Whoops. But I can still build back up because here's, Shore Crasher. Boom, there's another 3. Okay, now we're back. Okay, and build my way back up, and all the mechanics and cards and spells and abilities that have to do with Devotion, they're a little bit back up now. I'm not completely out of the game. I mean, let's venture back to Amonkhet and compare this to one of the most popular, most powerful decks in the game. All-in control Approach of the Second Sun. If they found a way to remove all the Approach of Second Suns from your deck, well, you cannot win now. Wow, how exciting. So if somebody were to hit you with like Unmoored Ego, I don't think those are legal at the same time, 1 card, 1 spell resolving, and your entire deck is shut down. Who even wants to play out the rest of that game? What a stupid deck. Teferi Nexus Loop. Well, you destroy their Teferi or board wipe them or counter 1 Nexus. Well, Red Rush from a year ago. You wipe the board once. 1 board wipe. They're dead. They can't win. Unless you're at like 6 or less life, they are not going to win. You are going to run them over because they needed to deal damage. They got that stupid elemental that gives them basically unlimited mana. And then you've got the Experimental Frenzy giving them unlimited card draw. Well, you blow all that up or counter a couple as they come in and make sure the board is empty, and that's it. They're dead. So you compare that to Devotion, where everything scales perfectly. Yes, a board wipe will be utterly devastating, but usually board wipes only affect creatures. So Devotion is every non-land permanent. So you could still have a chance and your Devotion mechanic could still go off unless they actually blow up everything you own, which would and should appropriately affect pretty much any deck. If somebody blows up all your creatures, all your enchantments, and all of your artifacts, first of all, it probably costs like 8 to do so. And secondly, yeah, you probably should be completely screwed at that point. But you never know, you might still be able to come back. So, I mean, you get this back and forth of like, oh, a kill spell. Oh, now I set back a little bit on the Devotion counter. Oh, wait. Oh, now I got this, this, and this. Oh, I dropped in a token, but tokens aren't as useful as real creatures. And yeah, it doesn't count for Devotion. Oh, but now I dropped in a triple cost, which isn't very good, but it drives up my Devotion. Oh, but now they blew it up. Oh, and this got countered. Oh, now I'm stuck at only 6 Devotion. Oh, but 6 might be enough to pull off this little trick. And oh, now the battle's turned my direction. Oh, but now they blew up half my board. And oh, now it's turned away from my direction. But I might still be able to win with this. Dynamic, interesting, important decisions, back and forth, interesting games, and fun gameplay. That was Devotion. And on top of it, if you bestow a Night Howler on top of something else, you get Black Devotion out the wazoo, and one single kill spell only gets rid of half the creature. I mean, yeah, it's 2 cards, but like, you basically have to kill Night Howler twice, is what I'm saying. So Devotion mixed with Bestow was pretty much the greatest thing ever. I can't think of a better mechanic mix. Keep in mind, I've only been playing since M14. So that is why I say Theros was so unbelievably good. But like I said, I only gave a crap about those 2 mechanics and the gameplay around the time. I know nothing about the characters, the storyline, the gods, the underworld, the lore, the plane. So let me introduce you to Theros Beyond Death, which f***ing better have Devotion. Otherwise, I don't give 2 shits that we're going back to Theros. I hated the card Elspeth back then. She was way too good at protecting herself. And you know they're gonna bring her ass back. Or, well, not exactly, because I guess their description of it is this is going to have to do with the underworld, so the whole thing might take place in the underworld. Not necessarily escaping the underworld, just like, what's life like there? And by the way, oh, Gideon just died, oh no, how terrible. They stated blatantly that he is now in Erebos, which I think is the name of the underworld, which isn't a new plane, it's like part of Theros, I guess. I'm no lore expert, but he's there, and we're going there. So if you thought you had enough Gideon and finally he's gone from the game, I got news for you, friend. That train's coming right back around. Get ready for zombie Gideon and zombie Elspeth. Or not really. I think they just wear gold masks or something to represent that they're dead and live in Erebos. I don't know. I think Erebos was the name of the god and I'm getting it confused with like actual Greek mythology. Whatever. Bring back Devotion and Bestow. Literally just reprint Theros. Like card for card, just reprint the whole damn set. Just take the whole quarter off. Everybody at Wizards just go on vacation and then just hit like Control-C, Control-V, boom, here, have Theros again. Would anybody actually really care if they did that? So anyway, yeah, people wanted me to make a whole video about why I'm so excited they're going back to Theros, so I wanted to clarify why I do care and why I don't care. And honestly, we still got all these horribly toxic cards like the Chandra that brings out an emblem and can't be countered from wherever the hell she was, War of the Spark or whatever, M20, I don't even know at this point. That's going to be ruining standard until the next rotation. Oh boy. And then we got a bunch of toxic crap that's already been spoiled from Throne of Eldraine, and we're not even done with those spoilers yet. So it's just a mountain of game-ruining crap that we have to climb over to get to Theros. Pardon me if I'm not too excited. And the only thing I liked was the mechanics, and they never just recycle the mechanics verbatim. They just don't do that. In fact, if I had to guess, realistically, they're going to do anti-devotion. It'll be like, Sunburst or whatever? Or they basically just made the same mechanic 3 times and named it 3 different things. But yeah, it'll be like the number of different colors between, mana costs and the number of different colors you spent to cast a spell. And everybody will be playing 5 colors and it'll be just an absolute slap in the face to Theros. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Wizards, bring back Devotion. Do it. If the whole set doesn't have Devotion, you still have time to scrap the whole thing and start over from scratch, which I recommend you do. So anyway, after Theros, we've got Ikoria, which I know everybody is going to call IKEA. Why would you not call it IKEA? You're 2 letters away, basically. Well, if you also spell it wrong. We've got IKEA, Lair of the Furniture. And yeah, the set symbol looks like, I don't know. a flame, an eye, a flaming eye, a makeup tutorial on YouTube. I don't know. But what we know so far about this is it's like the land of the creatures. So, hey, wait a minute. All 3 Ravnica sets were fairly creature heavy, I guess you could say. I mean, the game is creature heavy. But, you know, it was pretty tribal. And then, like, so was Ixalan. I mean, there were some tricks, there's some planeswalkers, duh. But, okay, then we go to M20, which is pretty creature heavy. Then we look at Throne of Eldraine, which is extremely tribal creature heavy. Then we go to Theros, which, who knows, probably enchantment heavy, I would think. And then we go to Ikoria, which is extremely creature heavy. So what people are going to be doing if they want to actually win is playing as much creature destruction as possible, which undermines all these sets. So it's just going to be a board wipe creature kill mass destruction-a-thon with narrow win cons, and it's just going to be control versus creature all-out blitz, you know, optimized to hell and back. There's only one way to play it mathematically, net decking crap. And like I said, just versus control trying to stop it. And by stop it, I don't mean a couple kill spells and counter spells here and there. I mean like drop the nuke. And then it's only going to get progressively worse as we get more and more sets legal because control becomes more viable as you get more control cards that are a little bit faster, a little bit cheaper, a little bit better draw to refill your control hand. And you guys know how this works. I don't need to repeat it. So yeah, Lair of the Behemoths here, the IKEA store. Doesn't sound great with what we look at now, but I mean, who knows? Like, who knows what they're really going to do? Well, the answer is Mark Rosewater, because in the video introducing these, he said that it's going to be one of the best mechanics ever, which I'm pretty sure he said about everything that's rated 7 and up on the Storm scale. So he's a great judge of mechanics and a great inventor of mechanics. But anyway, I guess you build your own creature, which means probably multiple spells, multiple effects, multiple abilities, multiple cards all go into one creature. I mean, I could be reaching there, but that's what it sounds like, which means one kill spell will take that sucker out. Maybe you hit it with a kill spell and some pieces fall off, kind of like Bestow. I mean, it almost feels like that wouldn't work, where it's like, oh, I've got this arm and this thing, and I add this, and I add this ability and that, and it's kind of like equipment, but not, oh, now I've got my creature, one kill spell, boom, there goes 4 cards. I don't think that would work, so I don't think that's what they're going to do, but if that is what they're going to do, just add more fuel to the fire of the anti-creature tirade that's going to go on in the standard meta until the next rotation in, I believe, 2021. Or, well, I guess super late 2020, but whatever, same thing. The next, I'll let Wizards introduce this one. Get ready to punch your monitor.
Okay. This is Core Set 2021.
Ah, very nice.
And I think the pitch for this one to me was, do you like Teferi?
No! Bitch, are you tripping? Is that a rhetorical question?
I mean, I like Teferi, yeah.
Shut the up, Jimmy. You would shill the Holocaust if somebody gave you a $5 bill to do so, okay? Shut the up. Ask anyone, ask any player, casual, pro, anyone, what they think of Teferi. He was one of the worst things to happen to the game ever. He's a stupid prison control lockout asshole. Everybody hates him. Nobody wants to see him ever again. I personally hope he dies in a fire in the lore officially. Which actually, if you're not familiar, he almost did die in a fire in the lore. It was at Tolarian Academy. He was stuck in a bubble, and then they like threw a wet blanket on him. It took 20 years to hit him or some bullshit like that. Anyway, here's hoping it happens again. And I swear if somebody tries to throw a wet blanket on him again while he's on fire, I will tackle you, okay? I will tackle you. That game-ruining piece of human garbage has to burn this time.
Yeah, if you like Teferi, you will not be disappointed in this set.
So what you're saying, if I'm not mistaken, is that we are going to be disappointed in this set. Everyone everywhere is going to be disappointed in the set, comma, don't buy it. Well, luckily for you, it's a core set, so I wasn't going to anyway. And let me just give you a little preemptive f*** you for bringing Teferi back to the game. I don't care if all 3 of his ability are 0, do nothing, I still don't want him in the game. It's still too dangerous. It could just be one ability that says +1, blow himself up. Don't care, still don't want him in the game. So you know how M20 featured Chandra? I guess M21, or whatever the hell they're calling it, is going to feature Teferi. I can't believe that they actually chose the least popular character in the history of the game, as far as I can tell. That's unbelievable. They had to have made this decision before Dominaria came out, but timeline-wise, I don't think so. I think they saw how much people hated him, I guess sort of in the story, but mostly in the gameplay, and then decided, yeah, let's feature him. What were you thinking, Wizards? What were you thinking? Oh, and speaking of what were they thinking, you know how the core set logos have been the same forever, almost? Yeah, it's not M21, it's this bullshit, which really looks like a dual deck. Literally nothing about this says core set, thanks for confusing the hell out of people. Also, the way that the outline of the black and color areas work, this is going to look like crap when they make it common. The mythic, rare, and silver ones that are filled with the color are probably going to look wonderful, but I can't imagine how that is going to work when they invert it to black. The character choice, the logo, the way they're introducing it, everything about this set is a disaster, and it's not even coming out for like a year. Unreal. This is the kind of absolute lunacy that you have come to expect from Wizards of the Coast. Oh, and if you thought the disappointment train was already pulled into the last station, what does this look like? Oh, that looks an awful lot like a Hedron. Oh, crap, we're going back to Zendikar again. I mean, I didn't read the full story, but I'm pretty sure the Eldrazi wrecked most of it, which actually in itself could be neat, but I don't care about Zendikar and I don't want to go there. We were just there, and before we were just there, we were just there. So it's called Zendikar Rising, and the only way that they could possibly make it worse than everybody's initial impression right now would probably be to just recycle the exact same scenario and storyline with a mystery fourth Eldrazi that was awakened and hiding in the world. Which, I mean, okay, would be kind of interesting, but still, like, if they're going to rerun the damn plane, might as well rerun the story too. Okay, I'm kind of dumping on them a little bit with this one. I don't care what plane we go to. Everyone was like, what do you mean we're going back to Innistrad? What do you mean we're going back to Ravnica? Only in name. So you got the storyline and the lore, and then you've got the cards in the gameplay. The cards in the gameplay, you might as well not call it Ravnica or Zendikar or anything, because you've got brand new mechanics that might maybe be a callback or a slight resemblance to what it was last time you're on the plane, but for all intents and purposes for gameplay, it might as well be a completely different plane. Now, there's some exceptions where if you go into Theros, you're pretty sure they're going to run enchantments, because that's what Theros does. And if you go to some Phyrexian shithole, you're probably going to have Infect, which, as if they'd ever bring that back. But otherwise, if it's just, it's a place with all different people and races and mechanics and guilds and groups and clans, whatever. They could go back to frickin' Tarkir for all I care. It'll be completely different than the last time we were there, except the storyline, where people are like, but I'm sick of the characters, this, that. Well, why'd you listen to the lore and read the, stories and all this crap? And then, we're never going to hear from these characters or these places or this country or that division or that. No, we're never going to hear from them again. I'm glad I looked up all their lore and learned about them and read the books or the free chapters online, which obviously are not a thing now. I got super into the lore, and the only people we could ever possibly hear about again from this entire storyline are the Planeswalkers, because they can physically leave and go to a different plane. Why the hell wouldn't you want to revisit the planes? I mean, I'm all for their current tactic of approximately 50% of the time going to a brand new plane where they come up with all new lore, new characters, new stuff, new cultures, new governing bodies, and new groups and whatever. That's cool. But for all the old-time lore people, like, you kind of want to hear what's going on with these other dudes from 5 years ago, don't you? So the gameplay, the mechanics, and everything to do with the actual card game don't matter what plane you're on. And the storyline, you kind of want to call back and to continue what you were reading. I mean, that's like if they just made 2 Harry Potter movies and then just stopped. It's like, well, but don't you want to see what happens in the future years that Harry went to Hogwarts? Or no, you don't care? Okay. You learned all about the world, the history, the characters, the teachers, the places, the magic, where the school was founded and everything. And then, nope, cut it off after two movies. I only want to see completely new movies that don't reference it in any way, shape, or form. What the hell? Why? You invested all that time and interest into the characters and the places and all that. You never want to follow up and see what happened later. Really? It just astonishes me that people are like, we're going back to this plane. Yes, we are. Deal with it. Shut up. There is almost no valid complaint about going back to the same plane. And anytime I join in on, elbowing Wizards of the Coast over it, it's just because I'm joking. I'm just kind of playing along with the stupidity of people. Basically parodying them, and half these people are so stupid they don't even realize I'm doing it. So anyway, we're going back to Zendikar again, so you probably thought I was serious. I don't give a shit where we go. The next set after Zendikar Rising isn't announced, but it could be literally just Mark Rosewater's house, and every single card is just like pictures of his cats. I don't give a shit. I care way more about the gameplay than anything else going on in the story or the art or any of that, okay? Oh, my formal guess is that after Zendikar, we're going to a brand new plane. So obviously you can't guess that. It's a brand new plane. But then after that, logically, we would probably be going to Chandelar. It's either that or Kamigawa, but I think we're past that information that somebody leaked. It would be so far out at that point that I don't think it would have been settled. So he would have just been referencing something else. I mean, we got a lot of reprints from Kamigawa and finally some ninjutsu cards reprinted and all that. I think that's what he was referring to. So I think we can give up on revisiting Kamigawa in the very near future, but Chandelar is probably... that and Lorwyn have been the two most requested planes that I know of in the community. And I don't want to go to Lorwyn, so I'm going to say Chandelar. And I hope we go to it because Chandelar is a rogue plane that kind of moves in the multiverse, so it makes it hard to travel to because it doesn't have a fixed point where you can like know how to get there. And I think at a certain point, I'm not sure if this is still true or not, you could only get there when it moves close to another plane, which I think was Dominaria. So it was kind of like, oh, you can only jump in a rocket ship and go to Mars from Earth when you're both on the same side of the sun and your orbits are close. It was kind of like that, but with planes. So that's kind of neat. I mean, you go there and you've got a limited time to escape, and then if you get trapped there somehow or whatever, you can't planeswalk out, and I mean, that's kind of interesting. Plus, Chandelar is turbo old school, so, I mean, come on, we got to go back. We got to do it. I mean, come on, guys, the Onaki? You want to hear about the Onaki, okay? Come on. So, anyway, that's all the actual spoilers we have for now. So I'm excited about going to Theros, Ikoria, Teferiville, and Zendikar. I don't care. I'll tell you when the spoilers come out. I care about gameplay and cards, and that goes double now that they're paywalling the story. Like I said, I've only been playing for like 6 years, so I don't know that much of the lore. So if they're going to return to somewhere, cool, that has no significance to me. So let me know what you think about all this craziness down in the comment section below. And don't forget to leave your biggest insult of Teferi and how you hope he dies in the storyline. I feel like a couple of these comments are going to get filtered. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.